Hello, my name is Oliver. Welcome to my workshop. Now, in last week's video, we made the rear stays for the roll cage, which is also the back of the chassis, because why would you have rear stays and the back of a chassis? They might as well be the same thing. But there's been some confusion. Some people think that I'm making a space frame chassis. I'm not making a space frame chassis. This is a roll cage. Okay, so the way it works is, this is a car the size of a shoe. And I want a roll cage, and I need a chassis, and I'm a very large man, I'm 6'6". And because I can't become part of the chassis, the roll cage and the chassis are going to have to become the same thing. So basically, I'm building my roll cage first, because if I built my chassis first, then I'd have to build a roll cage in the chassis, and that makes the interior of the car smaller and I don't fit. So instead I'm building the car backwards. I'm building the roll cage, and then I'm fitting the chassis to the roll cage. It's the complete opposite of how you would ever build a car. But the reason I'm doing that is so that the roll cage becomes an integral part, an integrated part of the chassis, and gives the chassis tons of strength. It was inspired by both Group B rallying and NASCAR, because back in the day they did the exact same thing. Well, not quite. What they used to do is they used to build an integrated roll cage into a saloon car or a hatchback or whatever that was part of the chassis, basically. And then they used to dip the body in acid and get rid of half the thickness of the metal and all the paint and all the seam sealer and all of that, and be left with a very floppy body, but all the strength was in the roll cage. And I thought to myself, well, I have a chassis design from the 1960s, I don't fit in the car with a roll cage, so let's make the roll cage and the chassis the same thing. It stiffens up my chassis, and it gives me a roll cage, and I fit in the car. So that's why I'm doing an integrated roll cage. But because no one does this, I can't think of anyone that has done this to this level before, other than like professional racing teams and stuff, where your roll cage is actually a mounting point for your suspension. And obviously I'm building a roll cage without a chassis. I'm really envious of other YouTubers that just buy parts from a company and then bolt parts on. What I wouldn't give this week to just bolt parts on a car, but stuff comes in the post and you just bolt it on a car. That's the best thing ever. Unfortunately, I don't have that. And just like everything else in my life, I'm doing it the hard way. So, so we're building a car backwards. We're building a roll cage, and then we're putting a chassis in the roll cage, and then we'll have a car that's all held together and is super, super strong and super, super light. Because of course, this car has more power than a Lotus Elise, and it's lighter, and it's smaller. Like, this car will be as fast as a Lamborghini Murcielago SV. In fact, a lot faster than a Lamborghini Murcielago SV. We're knocking on Ferrari F40 territory with how light this car will be and how much power we're making. And so we're going to need some really big tyres, and we're going to need some chunky wheels, and we're going to need a lot of grip and a lot of chassis rigidity and really good suspension. And because we need all those things, and I need to fit in the car, it's taken some very imaginative thinking. But it just means that it is time consuming, because to get the basis of it all right is time consuming. You know, I'm reinventing a car. I talked to one of the old owners of GTM a couple of weeks ago, really nice guy, and he said to me, oh, back in the day we thought about making a space frame chassis GTM, but it ended up really, really heavy. And I said, yeah, I'm not making a space frame GTM because there's not enough space for a space frame. And he's like, yeah, there's not. But he absolutely loves like what I'm doing, and he thinks it's an awesome idea. He actually asked me, because I'm going to all these lengths, he's like, why don't you just make your own car and call it an Oliver Pickard? And I'm like, because I love it. I love the GTM. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's a love letter. It's a love letter to a car I adore, but it's a car that I don't fit in. And it's no good me not fitting in it. So if I'm going to make me fit, I might as well make everything else better. while I'm in there. It's that old thing, and it's the while you're in there thing. Most people are like, oh, I'm going to put a new rear main seal in when I do my clutch. I'm like, I'll just redesign the entire car and completely re-engineer it and make it better in every single way. And put double wishbone front suspension on it, and double wishbone rear suspension on it, and mega brakes, and you know, double the horsepower and double the grip, and and keep the weight exactly the same. But in the spirit of living life the hard way, that it's not an easy thing to do, and it's a very time-consuming thing to do. And thank you all for being so patient with these videos, because I know it's not like, oh, it's not a rock star video, is it? We're bolting a big turbo on it and then taking it to a dyno and making 1,000 horsepower, but it doesn't really drive down a road straight. But that doesn't matter, because it's a YouTube video. That's not the way that I live life. And this car has to work, and this car has to handle. You know, I'm not going to make a video with this car where I just drive in a straight line and then do donuts in a car park. That's not happening. This car has to work. It has to drive long distance. It has to be comfortable, and it has to be flipping fast. And I'm doing it all off my own back. I'm not a media company. I'm not an engineering company. This is my workshop. I'm doing it with hand tools that you probably own. And that's the whole idea of the thing, is to say to everybody, look how capable you can be without all the money, without all the fancy tools. You know, you don't need a room full of CNC machines. And the only bolt-on parts in this garage are parts that I make and then bolt on, except for the bits of Honda which I've got from scrapyards, because that's what it should be, in my opinion. That's like, I love grassroots cars, and I love cars that evolve rather than just be built. You know, this isn't a show car. This isn't a SEMA car. This isn't a car that will have a Bluetooth drive shaft. Like, everything in this car has to work, and when I'm done with it, I plan on driving it a really, really long way. And I plan on a lot of you, like, who are watching these videos now, seeing this car at shows and me saying, yeah, sit in it, of course you can. You know, like, I want to build the car that inspired me when I was, whatever I was, 8 years old. Like, I saw a GTM, and it was a grassrootsy car that was held together with zip ties and duct tape at a sprint race. I looked at that car at 7 years old, and I was like, yes, I want that. When I grew up, I want that. But I want that car, I want it to be the best that it can be. And I want little kids to look at this thing and be inspired. And to do all of that, and to not let all of you down, and to inspire little kids, and to make the best thing that I can be, and make this the best car it can be, that's going to take time, and it's going to take maths, and it's going to take working out, and it's going to take effort, and it takes hours. And I'm even off camera, I'm spending tens and tens and tens of hours working on this thing, figuring it all out. So I want to say thank you for all being so patient, and for investing your time watching these videos and supporting this channel and recommending these videos to your friends and subscribing and all that, because without you, I couldn't do it. And YouTube is one heck of an excuse to do absolutely completely stupid stuff like build your own supercar, and because of you, I have that excuse. So thank you very much, and if you're enjoying these videos, please make sure you subscribe. So like I say, thank you to everybody for being so patient, and thank you to everyone who sent get well soon messages to my dad. He read them all, and I read them out to him and stuff throughout the week, and that was really nice of you all. So thank you. He's much better than he was. The end of his finger's still missing, but he's healing up very nicely. So he'll be back welding soon, hopefully. But that leads me into the news. The big news is that I'm going to not be uploading a video on Fridays anymore. I've been thinking about it. The reason why I've always uploaded videos on Friday is way back in the day. In fact, this is the 4th anniversary, I think, of my first YouTube video ever, which is now no longer on this channel. It's actually been removed. I removed it because it's nothing to do with what the channel now is. But way back when I started YouTube, I started doing cycling videos because I had my little Daihatsu 4-wheel drive, and I was in Spain, and I wanted to learn to edit and make videos. And the way I did that was by making cycling videos. And those videos did really well when they were uploaded on Fridays. But I think for an automotive audience and stuff, and with me trying to grow this channel and me trying to bring attention to Pandora, Fridays aren't the right day. And I know that because when I do social media posts and stuff, when I upload on a Wednesday, they always do really well. So what I've decided is that from this following from this following Wednesday, all videos will be on a Wednesday. And that gives me more time to give you a proper video, because I know this isn't really a proper video, but it gives me more time to finish what I'm doing, finish working out, and make some proper progress. Because with my dad not being well, we're chopping the end of his finger, and we've had a few other things happen, and with all that happening, I got a bit of a stomach bug, and yeah, filming a YouTube video when you've got a stomach bug is not an easy thing to do. There's been a whole mess of stuff happened this week, so proper video from Wednesday, and from now on it's going to be on Wednesdays. So tell me what you think about that down in the comments below. And is Wednesday a good day for you? I hope it is, because that's when they're going up. And if Wednesday isn't a good day, then they'll still be up on Friday, of course. And if you'd like to watch another one of these videos, there's a playlist for Jolene there and Pandora there, and subscribing there. And like I said, thank you to everybody who shares these videos with their friends, because I'm working really hard to make free telly for you all to enjoy, and proper videos from Wednesday, I promise. Alright, bye bye. Please be awesome to each other.